In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jar Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jar Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jar Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
Good morning on Friday, the 21st of March 2025. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia and therefore coffee time on West Coast Radio, brought to you on YouTube by Jar Oil and Wave.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, Abla, yo, luta to dede. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil mahalis. Hello?
Busel mo fine.
What?
Busel mo fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Busel mo fine. Wave. Your money is yours.
And just before we bring you today's press review, let's meet our studio guest who was simply introduced as Sparkling Black. He's in the studio. Welcome to the program finally.
Yes, Uncle Peter. Assalamu alaikum, Gambia. Assalamu alaikum to every listener. And I'll just be begging you to stay in tune on this program. Don't go away.
Why shouldn't they go away? What do you have in store for them?
Yeah, because there will be some very vital information that may be useful to them.
Political information?
It could be political. It could be national, you know.
So what are your main areas of interest?
Well, my main area of interest is about the street. I'm someone who has so much concern about the street.
What about the street?
We need to revive the street.
And when you say street, what actually do you mean? Is this a euphemism for anything?
No, the street is where we gathered and do our thing. And it's normally called Ghetto.
Oh, okay.
You know? And then we want this ghetto to be transformed and become a livable place instead of being danger to the society.
Okay. And where are these ghettos?
Well, it's all over the place. Everywhere you go, there must be a corner where people that does not have comfort in the house meet and then socialize. That's how ghettos come, you know. It wasn't necessarily planned for drug or crime. It was a set of people who does not really have fun at home and meet somewhere and then just...
So the original idea of ghettos was not negative, but over time you'd agree that, the word ghetto has come to signify, negative, even dangerous issue.
Yes, because some people take advantage of the ghetto and it turns into a dangerous corner. Politicians always come to the ghetto when they need somebody to steal ballot vote for them.
Really?
Or when they want to counter a strike. So they never come to us when they have something to donate or to give. The next time they came is only when they send police to us.
So the politicians actually exploit
Well,
the idea of ghettoism.
exactly. Exactly.
And what's your original name? I'm sure your parents did not give you Sparkling Black.
No, my original name is Mohammed Silla.
You have such a great name,
Yeah.
and you allow yourself to be called Sparkling Black. How did the name come about?
I think it's the interpretation of Mohammed in my own personal view. Because to me, sparkling black means the vision, the solution to see things. Because when you look in your eyes, there is a mixture of black and white.
Sure.
But the black spot is the area that you use to see the things around you. You know, that's how the name come about.
That's creativity. And people say young people are not creative. Huh?
Yeah.
Young people, yengai yap. All right, stay with us. We begin our press review with the Point newspaper. Gambian care workers in UK brace for new immigration rules. Court acquits robbery suspect due to lack of evidence. First Lady calls for regional unity to enhance services for GBV survivors. BCC cashier faces scrutiny over missing funds. And Lands Minister furnishes National Assembly with Dasilame border demarcation roadmap. On to Foraya's front page. Dispute over Manduar Cemetery heads to court. BCC's main cashier testifies on per diem checks for mayor. Education Committee backs bill to expand access to higher education. Ex-Major Jiba accuses Defence Minister of misleading Parliament. Transport Union and government begin talks on long-awaited road transport bill. Nyangabanta Nyanija road construction victim not compensated. A National Assembly considers bill to boost research and innovation. Next, a look at the Voices front cover. Lawmakers demand retraction as Lands Minister calls opposition big mouths. Wanero Alcalo insists his village belongs to Senegal. Jeweler ordered to reframe gold chain or pay $26,000. UN pledges support as CGI seeks industrial transformation in the Gambia. BCC official admits to mayor-directed payments without proper procurement process, and government to demarcate boundary between Busura and Talokoto. We end with the Standards Friday front cover. Man tells court he poured gasoline over thief and set him on fire, but adds it was the beating, not the fire, that killed him. Hamad sparks uproar in National Assembly, calling opposition big mouths. Judiciary faults Afrobarometer findings. Ibn Chambas leads ECOWAS fact-finding mission to Senegambia. An environment minister petitioned over appointment of soldier as forestry director. That was a look at the front pages of Friday's newspapers. Our thanks to The Standard, Foraya, The Point, and The Voice. Back to Sparkling Black or Muhammad Silla.
Yeah.
They say young people don't watch or listen to the news. Do the people in the ghetto listen to the news? Do they read the newspapers? Do they watch television for news?
Well, that's why we are out there to inspire them to be part of the national development program. Mm-hmm. Because most of these people, they have no interest in national issues.
Most of these people who?
Most of the people residing in the ghetto.
Okay. So it's not only young people who reside in the ghetto?
Well, it's both young and old, because some people grow up with that character and they're still there. So they're not really into politics, and they don't feel like they have a role to play. And this is why we are there to advocate that, listen, this is our country and we all have a role to play. But then, if the government is not showing them that you're part of the country, that's where they feel like, oh, it's not worth it going to vote, it's not worth it, doing anything that is for the Gambia.
Okay, apart from voting, what can you contribute to national development? People in the ghetto.
Well, okay. When you say ghetto, it's formed with a different...
Well, you said ghetto.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
okay, ghettos are, most of these people in the ghetto, we have different mindset of the actual people. That's why I think people find it so difficult that, oh, how are these people living this kind of life? Because the mindset has to be very considering. The mindset the ghetto have is that, and the kind of people that are packed there, 80% might be dropout.
School dropout.
So school dropout. Some might not even go to school. Some might go to school but doesn't have the opportunity to be employed or do certain things, and they get involved with the ghetto. So it's people that really need help. And then when it's come to the government now, these people are termed criminals. So to them, they just have to get rid of them. And you can really find some good instrument in these people that we can use. But the fact that they're not been given the attention, sometimes they feel like they're useless, and that is the cause of why they're stuck in that place. So our job is to make them identify their position in the society. And to me, I don't think they're criminal, because most of the ghettos in the Gambia, they don't rob people. No, the people that rob people are not within us.
So why do they have this criminal tag then? Why do people just assume that Sparkling Black is a criminal because he lives in the ghetto?
It's because the weed. The weed is the stigma that society is holding us against. You know, because the
weed
the
meaning,
drug, because
meaning jamba or Thai or marijuana.
Yeah, because of the view they have against these drugs, now every user of this drug became an abnormal citizen to them. So, and it's not true like that. It's because, like me, for instance, when I finish school and I start doing some little job, and then when I think of the salary I was being paid, and then I think of the time I'm spending, I think by the time I was paid $3,000, that was maybe $100 for the 8 hours. And when I check it, I said, no, I think I can, if it is $100, I can find that without signing to any 8 hours deal, you know. And that's how I dropped my job and then start, you know, doing this raba anyway, anyhow. And then it works for me.
What's raba? Petty trading?
Yes. Anything legal, you know, that comes on your way, you know, business or whatever. And then you start to make more money. And then I start to realize that even the salon guy is making more money than most of these people who are working for salary. You know, because he's cutting my head for $100, which took me 8 hours to make. You know, and people don't really see things like this. The youths on the street, they want a clean job, not a job with a big pay money. And that's a problem in the Gambia. People doesn't really calculate the value of their per capita income. You know, they only calculate the station which they are working in. How clean, how impressive, how, you know what I mean? And then we all get employed, but we are all broke. You know, because we are not using our energy in the right channel. You see somebody with a plate of nana, you know, the whole day roaming around supermarkets, and the entire plate doesn't contain $400. And he's going to spend 8 hours trying to sell that $400. How much profit is he making on that $400? And if that energy was channeled to a greater business or more profitable business, you see how much he can make.
All right.
Yeah.
It's Mohammed Silla, a.k.a. Sparkling Black, with us this hour. And we are discussing ghettoism, life in the ghetto. I mean, he's bringing a positive spin on it all on Friday, the 21st of February, 2025, live on West Coast Radio.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de dik. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh. Yes!
Wave Axel Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bustle mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Our guest is Sparkling Black. His parents gave him the name Mohammed Silla. He is with us this morning to change perceptions about ghetto and life in the ghetto. Now, during the break, I must say, I stereotypically asked whether you are fasting.
Yes.
It just shows, maybe how people view people who live in the ghetto.
Yeah.
I mean, is everyone fasting in the ghetto?
Obviously, 90%.
90%.
Yeah. 90%, yeah.
Yeah, but where do you find, food for your iftar? I think it's called iftar.
Iftar, yeah.
Ndogu, yeah?
Just like that, when people are used to socializing, it's easy. In the ghetto, we more socialized than the natural community. It's where you can definitely give your last bread to your brother and knowing that there's no other bread. And this is the bond that ties us, It's not about wealth. It's about, looking after each other's back. And the only thing that is eating us now is drugs.
When you say eating, you worrying.
Yeah, and it's
people in the ghetto.
Yes, and it's eating the healthy breed of the nation too.
When you say drugs, I mean you just spoke about the bond between people in the ghetto and the weed. It's like the weed is part and parcel of
but the
ghetto life.
Yeah, but we've been introduced to a stranger now. There's a new drug in town.
Oh,
so
he or she is called what?
Well, the crack. I've never seen a crackhead in my life until from 2021 to 2025. If you go to Kololi, you will see at least 10 women that has already lost it. They're totally mad. We never see that in the Gambia before. You don't see people who are mad because of drug.
Well, we used to associate
the madness with
people
drug.
with, mental problems with particularly jamba.
No,
because when we were young, the only drug in town was jamba.
Yeah.
And then dusu came.
Yeah.
But
then
do you people still do dusu?
No, I know.
Okay.
It's only weed.
You probably even don't know what dusu is.
Exactly. It's new to me. But then there is so much hard drug on the street of Banjul, Gambia. And this is the concern we have. It's like the way I see it is like there's a secret program going on, and the government really need to be alert because all these countries that are dominated by drug, this is how it started. Crack is cheaper than weed.
Oh,
that is alarming.
And it's more dangerous than weed.
It can destroy you within a week. You don't need to take crack for a month to be destroyed.
Goodness me.
And the amount of boys that has gone mad, that no one can bring them back, or probably it's going to take so much time or money to bring them back, and no one is even planning to bring them back. And this drug is spreading. And what happened is when we have so much crackhead on the street, and then they introduce us with gun.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the plan.
The gun has also come into the equation.
No, the gun will come after we all turn to crackhead.
Goodness me.
And then in that time, the government will not manage that crime.
I should be thinking of buying a ticket out of this country.
I am telling you, because imagine a crackhead with a gun. A crackhead will go after anything, anyhow, anyway, when he needs it. And this is how they organize crimes. Because we are so peaceful and we don't use all our strength on crimes. Real Gambians don't go out at night and break people's door. And no, we don't have those kind of thieves. Maybe few, and they're influenced by foreigners. The kind of thieves we have here is pocket picking or, just snitching and steal. But now we will experience people with gun coming to your house.
Oh, no.
Obviously. I did tell it to many people that, listen, you people are ignoring the street, but you will pay the price. They will go after your kids. They will come after you in your house.
This is scary.
Yeah, your kids are going to be their friend. They're going to introduce them to this drug. And it's like no one cares, you know.
You're going to be very busy after this program. The police is going to invite you to work with you.
Well, it's not like the police don't know. These things are visible. You don't even need microscope to see this. These things are very visible. You just go now and stand in the street of Kololi, you see it. And, you know, they're my friends. I talk to them. Some of these people are now...
That's why the police is going to need you to work with them.
Well, I'm already doing my part. I have rehabilitated few, you know. If I show you few pictures, you wouldn't believe now and after. You know, because they don't really understand. They think, oh, these people are stubborn, let them spoil themselves. No. This is a threat against them and our families. Because in a normal situation, there is no way a crack should be cheaper than a weed. So that is a program. And it's like, even now, the crackheads has more freedom than the weed sellers. Because if you catch them, it's like there's nothing, they're gone. So at the end of the day, you just leave them roaming like that.
Oh, wow.
Now you start seeing begging people, bro, remember $5. They're all crackheads. You see them everywhere.
We have a major problem on our hands here.
We do because the way the police are fighting against drug in this country, they have to change their method of fighting drugs. You know, it's not always just robbing people, sending them to prison. You need to find the main sources. You know, you need to find these suppliers. These drugs are not citizen drugs. They're coming from other countries. Our borders need to be tight. We don't even want it. Like 90% of people using drug, they don't want it. They want to get rid of it. They want to get out of that box, but they cannot. It's addictive. And there is no one to pull them out. So the only thing they can do is to keep using it until your line comes, and then
it's a vicious cycle, isn't it? All right, Mohammed Silla, a.k.a. Sparkling Black, with us until the top of the hour. The Harambee Stars of Kenya came from behind 3 times to hold the Scorpions to a 3-3 draw in a pulsating match on day 5 of the African qualifiers for the 2026 Football World Cup. But that the Gambian team squandered a lead 3 times in the match was not the only issue for UDP, whose head of media, Tombong Sedi, issued a critical statement moments after the match, blaming the Barrow government for the Scorpions' recent string of embarrassing results. Lamin Cham helps us with the text.
The Gambia's youth have long been the backbone of the nation's future. Yet, this Barrow NPP Kerenkafo government, particularly the Ministry of Youth and Sports, continues to fail them. The recent debacle surrounding the national team, the Scorpions, is a glaring example of this neglect. Despite the Kerenkafo government's claims of prioritizing youth development and sports, their actions or lack thereof paint a different picture. The national team, the Scorpions, a source of national pride, have been forced to play all its matches away, including home matches in foreign countries, due to the substandard condition of the Independent Stadium. This is not just an embarrassment, but also a betrayal of the Gambian youth and a clear indication of the Kerenkafo government's apathy. The Independent Stadium, once a symbol of national unity and sporting excellence, has been rendered unfit to host FIFA-sanctioned matches. This is despite the Kerenkafo government spending hundreds of millions of dollars on its renovation. The question on every Gambian's mind is, where did all that money go? How is it possible that after such a significant investment, the stadium still fails to meet the basic FIFA standards? The lack of transparency and accountability in this matter is deeply troubling and raises serious concerns about the Kerenkafo government's commitment to youth and sports development. The consequences of this neglect were painfully evident in the match between the Gambia and Kenya in the World Cup qualifiers played yesterday in an empty stadium in Abidjan, the Ivory Coast. The Scorpions, despite leading twice, ended up drawing 3-3. It is not far-fetched to argue that had the match been played here in the Gambia with the support of a home crowd, the outcome could have been different. The absence of a home advantage is a direct result of the Kerenkafo government's failure to provide a suitable venue for the national team. This is not just a sporting issue, it's also a national disgrace. The Barrow NPP Kerenkafo government's indifference to the plight of the Scorpions is symptomatic of a broader disregard for the youth of the Gambia. Young people in this country face numerous challenges, including unemployment, limited access to quality education, and a lack of opportunities for personal and professional development. Sports, particularly football, have always been a source of hope and inspiration for many Gambian youths. By neglecting the national team and failing to invest in proper infrastructure, the Kerenkafo government is sending a clear message that the dreams and aspirations of the youth do not matter. Enough is enough. The Gambian people deserve better. The youth of this nation deserve a government that prioritizes their needs and invests in their future, and a UDP government would do just that. The Ministry of Youth and Sports must be held accountable for its failures, and the NPP Kerenkafo government must take immediate steps to bring the independent stadium up to FIFA standards and ensure that the Scorpions can play their home matches on Gambian soil. Furthermore, there must be a thorough investigation into how the funds allocated for the stadium's renovation were spent. The National Assembly must do something about this. Transparency and accountability are non-negotiable. The Barrow NPP Kerenkafo government has a responsibility to the youth of the Gambia. It is time for them to step up and fulfill that responsibility. The Scorpions are more than just a football team. They are a symbol of national pride and unity. And by failing to support them, the government is failing the entire nation. The youth of the Gambia are watching, and they will not forget. The youths will surely do the needful in 2026.
And that was Lamin Cham with a statement by the media team of the UDP. We tried to reach the Minister of Youth and Sport, Bakari Baji, but got no response. And the government's bad luck with recreational facilities continues because OP's ill-judged decision to take over the management of McCarthy Square in Banjul continues to draw criticism. Demba Ali Jawo, veteran journalist who was the first information minister in President Barrow's cabinet, says OP's argument that the asset never came under the care of the Banjul City Council was both baseless and contradictory. Let's hear it again, Lamin Cham.
The simmering controversy surrounding the recent forceful takeover of the McCarthy Square from the Banjul City Council BCC by the Office of the President appears to be part of a grand scheme by the Barrow administration to financially and administratively weaken the opposition-controlled municipalities. After all, this decision is certainly not an isolated incident. Rather, as part of that well-calculated scheme by the executive to weaken those municipalities, because this had been going on for quite a while now. We have seen it, in fact, in different shapes and forms, including the appointment of the so-called administrators in Banjul and KMC area, erroneously referred to by some people as governors. It was quite obvious that the creation of those administrative offices was purely political rather than administrative, and the occupants of those offices play absolutely no positive role in the administration of the municipalities of both Banjul and KM. Rather, they are there to create a presence for the executive in the indirect management of those two municipalities. After all, also, we have seen, for example, whenever President Barrow makes a visit to any part of Banjul or KMC, he invites those administrators to accompany him while completely ignoring the mayors who are the legitimate representatives of the people of those two areas. We have also seen that the scheme was first tested in Basse when the new market there was taken away from the then opposition-controlled Basse Area Council and handed over to the office of the governor to administer, which is in complete contravention of both common sense and convention, as well as the law governing local government. We have also seen similar action being carried out in the West Coast region, with the executive doing everything to erode the powers of the authority of the Brikama Area Council. No doubt, all geared towards making the council look ineffective and eventually unpopular in the eyes of the residents of West Coast region. But let's go back to the decision of the Office of the President to take over the management and security of the Makati Square. We have had, in fact, some contradictory statements from some members of the government. For example, the Chief of Staff and Minister at the Presidency, Mod K. Sise, told West Coast Radio on Wednesday that Makati Square had never been part of the BCC. This appears to contradict a letter from State House to the Mayor of Banjul. That letter stated, and I quote, "Following the recent innovation of the Makati Square as part of events marking the 68th independence anniversary, the Office of the President wishes to notify you of the decision to take over the management and security of the square." Unquote. Well, certainly, therefore, taking over the square from BCC indicates that it was originally part of the BCC, and that had been the case since the creation of the municipality. In fact, the letter went on, and I quote, "We look forward to your usual cooperation and thank you for the great work over the years." Well, this also is confirming that it had all along been administered by the BCC. Anyway, and whatever the case, this move is yet another apparent reversal of the decentralization of residual powers from the central to local government.
What great job he does for Coffee Time. That was Lamin Cham giving voice to Demba Ali Jawo's latest critique of Barrow government action. Now, amidst all the criticism, the president and his team commendably say they will not relent on allowing us all our fundamental freedoms and protecting our human rights. According to a statement issued after a meeting in Geneva on enforced disappearances perpetrated during the iron fist rule of the fugitive despot Yahya Jammeh, the government, the current one that is, led by Barrow, will continue working towards strengthening human rights protection, promoting accountability, and preventing future violations. Now that is reassuring in the face of opposition claims that the government was planning to declare a state of emergency to extend Barrow's presidency. And the statement I'm quoting was issued following completion of the review of the Gambia's initial report under the Convention on Enforced Disappearances. That review took place in Geneva on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and leading the Gambian delegation was Dauda Jallow, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He had with him officials from the Ministry of the Interior, the Ministry of Justice, the Gambia Armed Forces, the Gambia Police Force, the Gambia Prison Service, and the National Intelligence Agency, now also referred to as the State Intelligence Service. Big delegation, apparently. Anyway, live on West Coast Radio, you're with Coffee Time on Friday, the 21st of March.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine. Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Whether you want to advertise on radio or like Jar Oil and Wave YouTube to sustain the production of Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, get in touch with Mr. Jibril Jassi on 6990107 or 78700107 or 924-24-24. He's always waiting for that call to discuss advertising on West Coast Radio. A couple of text messages. Good morning, Peter. Out of curiosity, who are the governors of Banjul and KM? Did I hear your presenter right? Yes. DA said, I mean, they are officially called coordinators, but some people mistakenly, or maybe deliberately, just to rankle the opposition, call them also governors, but they are coordinators. I know for Banjul they have Ibrahim Ajawo. Now I should know for KMC because I live in the Kanifing municipality. But to be honest, I have no idea who the person is. Yeah, but Tombong said he has just come to the rescue. He just sent me the name because I called him to ask whether he knew. Honorable Amul Nyasi. Yeah, that's the coordinator. Sorry. Executive coordinator for KM is Honorable Bakari Kara Singate. Deputy executive coordinator for KMC is Honorable Amul Nyasi. So KM has not just one, but two. And we have another text message here. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Your guest, Sparklyn, is one of the most intelligent, very positive, and even his music is very educational. It would be fantastic if you could have him speak in Wolof as well for the benefit of the rest of the ghetto youths. Well, Sparklyn is still with us.
Yeah.
Before we get into Wolof, somebody wants you to say a thing or two in Wolof.
Yeah.
You heard the article on the Scorpions' performance last night. Are you a lover of football?
Yes, I am.
Yeah?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever played football in
Yes, I used to be a good footballer.
You used to be a good footballer.
Yeah.
What was your position on the pitch?
I was a striker.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you remember how many goals you scored, if you ever scored a goal even?
I did. I cannot even remember how many because
There were that many.
Yes.
That you can't even remember.
All my
Fantastic.
old friends
And
know
here
me.
am I, with a team that is struggling in the league. Maybe we should talk to you about playing for Banjul United. They are bottom of the log currently.
Yeah, but
Because they can't score goals.
Peter, me, I have a different view when it's come to African football.
What's your view?
My views on African football is, if I was having the right to decide,
Yeah.
we will ban all Africans from going to World Cup, African Cups, and we will focus on our local Nawetans and these things.
Yeah.
I think that will make a lot of impacts than what we're doing right now.
We should scrap the league, not play Division 1, Division 2, just play Nawetan.
No, we could play divisions and teams here and there, but my against is World Cup, African Cup.
Yeah.
Because knowing fully well that, let's say if Gambia make it today to the World Cup,
Yes.
if it requires $50 million for Gambia to go and play,
Yeah.
that money will be provided.
Yes. True.
And knowing that Gambia will not even come out third with the realities.
That is also correct.
And then we will all spend this money to send them there in the name of marketing the name of the country or whatever.
And even politicizing
And
it.
politics. And then the Nawetan, the whole trophy of a Nawetan is less than $1 million. And you have 22 teams, local teams, playing to have 500,000 or 300,000 as a trophy.
Even less.
Or less. Peter, that's sad.
I agree with you.
So if these people were earning $10 million for a trophy, they will hire players. You will see an investor, because if you go to this casino, it's full of our brothers with money, playing their money as gamble, because they don't see the needs of putting their money in football. Because even if you win the entire trophies in the Gambia, how much money will you make? But if the trophies money were expensive, you will see a company buy a team and spend $1 million to lobby for the $10 million.
But that is happening, I mean, businessmen are coming into the game because they can now sell players abroad. I mean, we haven't got to the point yet where Gambian players are good enough to win us anything.
Yeah, but those businessmen will the entire team, they might only need 2 or 3. players in the team.
True.
So we are talking about how to make the entire team earning salary or making best use of their football. Because the amount of money we are wasting in these tournaments, it doesn't really make sense.
For you, it's a waste.
It's a big waste. Because if we say we need some equipments in the hospital, it's not going to come that quick. Even the people, the citizens are not going to contribute to that. But when it's football, even if we say, oh, the government doesn't have money, you will see some people willing to donate. Everybody will be happy to donate to see that Gambia is there. And what are we really achieving on all these things? I think we are managing our country in a very wrong direction. It's not only Gambia, but we are not focusing on the priorities. And this is definitely a problem. A country
So this is the kind of conversation that goes on in the ghetto.
And this is why we and these people cannot interact, because sometimes we think they don't get the point, and they think we don't get the point. You know? So then they am problem, Peter.
Wow, am na ku ne buga na nga garal ay kaddu ci
waaw boobu moom dëgg la because Foxy street bi understand because foofu tamit ñu jàng bariwut o suñ jàngee sax ñu bari fàtte nañ you know.
Okay.
waaye tamit the other thing moo nekk
the street mooy mbedda bi
waaw moo tax ma ñëw ak street degree mooy xam-xami mbedda bi because dañ feel ne there are so many talent on the street that if we revive them they can definitely change something.
waaw yaa ngi làkkaat anglais te dañ bëgg nga làkk olof.
olof bi nag ak anglais bi daf dee jaxasoo.
ok o noonu ngeen dee déggante.
waaw
dafa am tuuti olof.
anglais am
tuuti
soose
anglais am soose ak yëpp. waaw ok kon léegi yow waxtaanal ak sa i morom yi nga xam ne ñoom nga bokkal mbedda mi.
because luñ dee jooy Gambien yu nekk si mbedda bi yëpp right now mooy government bi daf ñu war a dimbale street bi bari na duma leen dee bugg a ooyee caga waaye bari na jigéen. And so many jigéen yoo xam ne ni comme man fu ma dëkka 9 o'clock su jotee da ngaa foog ne football match moo jee is that much women.
noonu la jigéen yi bare.
fu ma dëkka man I see it every day.
mel ni ki ñoo xam ne dañ demoon seetaani football.
exactly ñu ngi match bu tas.
géew gi jos tas rek. ñoom léegi ñu ngi génn pour ñibbi
si comme i vigilante suma koñ you don't even need security because every doorstep jigéen mu ngi fa taxaw ba si tali bi.
waaw
and this Gambian ñii nekkuñ Gambian. but ñu ngi jàngal suñu sista yi naka la ñoo cagatoo and then ku nekk mu ngi leen a romba foofu government officially
baat bi nag ñun ñoo ko ñaawal waaye ñaawut
non waaye
dama ne xam nga ku ne caga ñu naan déggal li moo wax
waaw exactly respect jigéen la rek moo tax ñu ko rafetal sax waaye da ngaa gis ne jigéen yi soo waxtaanee jigéen yi they are all from 90% ñu ngi jógee Nigeria waaye most of them ñu leen fi isi ñooñu dañ war a fay $250,000 jigéen bu nekk koo gis si mbedda bi dafa war a fay $350,000.
yow na nga xamee loolu da nga waxtaan ak ñoom.
Man, they are my friends. I talk to them like, you know, I give them money. I try to know the reason behind all these things. And these people, they need help, Peter. Ñii dañ need ku leen dimbale. Because these people are under a very, very, very big problem. Because nu ñu leen dee def mooy suñu leen jëlee Nigeria dañ leen dee yóbbu force on si benn shrine. suñu yóbbee si jalang den dang laa waat da nga owe legend or loyalty to the madam who brings you here da nga waat ne doo ko boole da nga waat ne di nga ko fay xaalisam bi da nga waat ne di nga ko jamfa doo ko jamfa so it jigéen dafa fay $350,000 bala ngaa free pour nga mun a cagatu jël xaalis bi def ko sa poos bi foog si nga mutale $350,000 yi and then soo ko mutalewut doo mun a ñibbi sax I even offer to pay some of them their ticket to go back but they're so scared dañ ragal because ñu ngi wax ne ñoom dañ leen yóbbu si jalang ñu waat and then if they break that there's a repercussion for it and loolu rek mu ngi traumatize guy so gisuñ benn government official bu leen a ñëw paak leen delloo leen te ñoom mënuñoo go to the police station ba pare ñu explain
so suñ amoon loolu dinañ jël
they will do it loolu moo leen gënal 90% yu nekk si mbedd bi dañ leen waxoon ne Gambia dafa bari tubaab kaay leen season bi mu ngay jot ñii ju fa nekk yëpp dem nañ Europe léegi caga amatut Gambia and then tubaab nekku fi
non tubaab yaa ngi fi waaye ñoom luñ foog
moo fi nekkut
waaw
ba pare tubaab bi sax duñ they don't go after those kind of people so léegi dañ leen dee forcer da nga am pour taw si mbedda bi you have to charge as low as you can just to get money because Gambians are not that party people. Gambians are not intoxicated comme duñ dee mandi 90% duñ dee mandi so pour nga drag leen into this lifestyle is very limited so ñii dañ need help ñii su leen government bi buuboon ñoom ñëpp they will thank God for it and then duñ musa boole seen madam bi because I even offer them su man leen wan leen ma jigéen bi rek I will personally arrest her and take her to the station.
waaye du ñàkk yoo xam nga ay madam ay yéena madam xëy na dool
no but the main madam responsible ñoom duñ la wax turam because they scared to death ñoom dañ gëm ne suñ la ko waxee rek suñ demee kër something bad is gonna happen to them spiritually.
okay apart from xëy na nguur gi li wóorte wéer mooy kilifa police yi ñu ngi déglu programme bi waaye apart from ñu ñëw ñu ramasse ñii ñëpp naka la nguur gi mun a dimbalee
ñii ok
waaw ñii ak even sa maas gi
waaw because man lu ma doon
ndax yoo soxla loon dimbal
no everybody man suma boppa man because dama bëgg a dëkk bi ba nga xam ne léegi du ma dee xaar government bi si yeneen yi sax su ma ko munee
waaw soo ban façon ngi ndimbal la nguur gi mun a joxe
ndimbal bu gars yi mun a joxe about this street girls yi moo nekk ñu engage leen into something because man xelaatoon naa ne waaye suñu leen daaxee naka la gars yi di survive suñu leen stopé from cagatu naka la ñoo survive and then ma xelaat ma ne hold on a minute
ñu delloo leen seen réew yi
loolu laa ma ne hold on a minute ñun suñ maire yu am 60 years ñu dee jóg 6 o'clock dem tànjee jëli i paani jeen dem si marché bi jaay
waaye ñoom duñ paree dem tànjee parce que ñoom bàyyee ko
waaw waaye lu ma miin mooy ne solution mu ngi fa pour gars yi survive nekkul ne comme all corners are tight prostitution moo nekk di only solution non ñii nu leen government bi mun a dimbale mooy buub leen deeloo leen
ok
because suñ leen bàyyee fii
waaw
they are under a threat
ok so ñii léegi yóbbu nañ leen dem nañ ñi fi des nag parce que yóbbu ñii rek tasut ghetto bi
non tasut leen de
waaw
léegi society bi ñoo am responsibility
nañ njëkkee nguur gi
non nguur bi foog si ñu dimbale nguur gi foog naa ñoom they are not on the street they are not everywhere ñun ñoo fa nekk nguur gi lu ñu war a def mooy bulk bu fi nekk
waaw
ñu am high evidence ne loolu lañ dee def ñu paak ñëpp yóbbu ba pare ñu put strict
yóbbu leen fan mile two
déedéet back to their countries
waaw déedéet yóbbu nañ ñooñu ba pare
waaw
dama ne yóbbu nañ ñooñu ba pare
ñu fi des
waaw
dañ am pour teg policies ak law yoo xam ne mooy tax ba gars yi duñ taxaw si mbedda bi su ko bëgg a cagatu yaa xam demal si restaurant or a bar because we cannot also stop people from doing what they want but they have no also right to
dama foogoon nañ ne di nga ne ñu create job opportunities because yaa ko fiwal sa boppa ku jaay boppam gënalul la
exactly waaye
ñàkk a pexe moo la tax a def loolu
waaye
ci li ma foog de
understand na because bëgguma wax job ñu creatal leen job opportunity because government bi already am na ñu bari ñu war a creatal job opportunity created ko so adding it on top su man du nekk solution because dafa nekk loo xam ne lii self decision
suñ jëloo ñi yóbbu leen Saudi Arabia xam nga mu ngi am ñoo xam ne ñu ngi leen a yóbbu Saudi Arabia
well loolu good su nekkoon ne Gambian la waaye most of these people are not even Gambians
waaye du ñàkk a ma ne am na benn ñaar Gambian su ci bokka
because of gaa yaa ngi fa bari léegi sax
waaw
bari nañ fa de
waaye bu ñu def rek ne lépp lu ñaaw ci réew mi rek understand nga doxandeem yee ko waral
non doxandeem yi sax dañ fi fekka loolu
léegi ñun ñooy dalal ñooñu noonu ci ñun la ñoo royee
that's right but then soo seetee the case of Gambia in prostitution suñ sister yi ñii ñoo leen influence comme si anam buñ koo defee prostitution yàgg na
bul fàtte ne loolu la bëgg ñu ne mooy the oldest profession
yeah but the way anam buñ koo defee right now dem taxaw any mbedda any street kuy romba nga ne ko loolu Gambia xamul loolu Gambien bi ruskat la waaye léegi suñ yeneen sister yi dem nañ ba ñemeñ loolu because ñu ngi gis ne duñ ma xamee ak ñag bi sax customer bi mooy xam waaye ñeneen ni rombakat yi duñ xam kii Nigerian la o Gambian so dama feel ne ñi dañ need some force comme nu ñu dee fekkee si ghetto bi buub ñëpp dugal ñu si pick-up bi yóbbu ñu ñeena yi nekk fa léegi nga dem parti sax ewo prison understand
loolu lañ leen dee def
waaw léegi si biir parti bi sax ñu dugal fa seepe ñi yóbbu leen
kon xamee nañ ñeena
xamee nañ leen xam nañ leen
okay.
So, and we don't have a problem with them. Man, as long as the law money can take place, like, no problem.
Okay. Sparkling, suñu waxtu jeex na loo noo bëgg a tëjee waxtaan wi.
waxtaan bi is I'm very grateful to be here.
ñu ne nag musician nga tamit te yaa ngi nii fii tey ñëwloo ak benn musique so dinaa la ne nga def benn a cappella pour tëjee ko programme bi.
xam naa ok. Jai Bucks, play bet, brother, this is all we get. Anti-crime ak bulldozer loolu la government suggest. Loogi ndoo yi Italy ak Germany mooy seen target. ñaata ndoo ñoo jaar ci géej gi ñaata ñoo si des. boy yi amuñ benn skill léegi ñu ngi si street bi léegi ñoppay naan pile 16 million yu fi réeroon ñu ne boy yi ñoo ko tiif fii ganaar saa su fi deeyee ñu ne boy yi ñoo ko kiil ñun ngeen daan fayloo school fees ñun ngeen waxoon ne education is the key ñun ngeen waxoon ne ñooy dooni mayor fii ñun ngeen waxoon ne ñooy doon minister fii waaye dreams yëpp a fail
daw na yaram Sparklyn.
Yes, sir.
waa léegi yow soo dee dox nii ba nga dégg ku ne Musa si la dang dee uyu.
waaw léegi ma réer sax kala moo waa.
Thank you so very much for your time this morning. That brings us to the end of today's edition of Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. It's also the week's final edition. So, have a very good weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam si Wave.
Yow Ablaye, yow lu tax doo dee dégg lu tax mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Accina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.